wasn't really concerned about anything else dealing with 401ks and Roth IRAs and this and that. I'm like, what are these numbers? What are these letters? I don't know what you're talking about. What is good, everyone? It's me, Dr. Ev, and I'm back with a video. Please excuse this eye. I don't know if y'all, maybe I brought attention to it just now by saying this, but my eye is so red. I don't know. I woke up this morning, the eye was red. It's in some pain. I don't know what's going on, but just excuse that, okay? I was just trying on fragrances that I am going to be using in the fall, even though I use them a lot in the spring. And y'all, can I say, these are literally my favorite perfumes right now, period. If you don't have them, I would highly recommend. If you are a vanilla girl, if you like smelling like gourmands, or but still kind of sweet, you know, you still have that sweet, that, you know, just sweet and innocent. No, you're gonna love these. You're gonna love these. I get complimented on these all the time, so make sure you get them. I have officially been an attending for a whole year. Oh my gosh! I cannot believe I started my first attending gig a year ago. Time truly flies. And for those of you who may not be familiar with what I'm talking about or what that even means, when you're on your journey of medicine, there's a lot of different steps, right? So you go to medical school, you do med school for 4 years. After that, you do what's called residency. And so even though you've graduated medical school, you still have to then go and do additional training so you can specialize in a specific specialty. That is why I then went to residency and did a psychiatric residency or a psychiatry residency, so that I am able to see adults and I can become board certified and licensed to do so. A lot of people stop there, but if you want to further specialize so you can see a very sort of niche part of patients, you would do what's called a fellowship. And every specialty has this, not just psychiatry. So for me, I then went on and did a 2-year fellowship in child psychiatry so that I can be board certified and licensed to work with kids. All of this journey, though you are working, well, I guess med school, you kind of still working, but residency and fellowship is when you are working. You're seeing patients, you're writing notes, you're even billing. Even though you're doing that, you are under a supervisor, which is termed an attending. And an attending is someone who has completed all of med school, all of residency, all of their training. They become board certified in their specialty, and that is what an attending is. Understanding is that Grey's Anatomy does a good job of depicting this. I wish I could say that I am a Grey's Anatomy girly, but I tried. There was one summer maybe when I was in med school that I did try to watch Grey's Anatomy, and I'm not gonna lie, it was good. It was good. But by that point, I think it was like, I don't know, like 9, 10, 11 seasons in, and I was really struggling to keep up. So I think after I got to like season 3, I just gave up. But what I watched was good. So anyways, all that to say, I have been attending for a whole year. I thought I would make this video about lessons I've learned since becoming an attending. This is definitely not going to be an all-inclusive list. Like, I'm sure there's so many things. Not I'm sure. There are so many things that I have learned in my year of being an attending. I have grown so much in so many ways. I've been challenged in so many ways. It's just been an amazing journey. It's been an amazing journey, but I wanted to touch on some things that, you know, stuck out to me as I'm just reflecting on a year of being an attending. These lessons are not in any particular order of importance or anything. So I'm saying number 1 and number 2, but there's no, it doesn't matter. One lesson I have learned is I should have cared about my finances before becoming an attending. Medical training does not prepare you to take care of your finances. It's actually quite sad. I almost feel like doctors are the least financially literate group of people out there, group of professionals. And it's unfortunate because they're also some of the higher earners, but to me, it's like if you don't know what to do with your money or where your money's going, you're already starting so far behind. And that's literally how I felt. I am someone who come from much money, and so just making money was a huge step up. I wasn't really concerned about anything else dealing with 401ks and Roth IRAs and this and that. I'm like, what are these numbers? What are these letters? I don't know what you're talking about. Now that I am more experienced and also just being around other attendings who are more seasoned, I see how important it is to pay attention to your finances earlier on. Much more benefit. You have a lot more to gain if you start working on those things earlier on versus once you become an attending. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm an attending, I'm making money, we're done. We're good. But no, like there's so many ways to make your money work for you. I would say that that's a big lesson, that I should have been paying more attention to my finances before I became an attending, because now, girl, that's all I think about is my finances. Lesson that I've learned: you know way more than you think you know. And that sounds crazy because you're probably like, yeah, duh, you're an attending, of course you know stuff. And it's like, yeah, but imagine your whole life you've been trainee, you've been a student, you've always been learning from some other person, you checking in with someone has always had to kind of give you the green light and let you know, like getting that validation, like, okay, yeah, you're on the right track, right? That's how medical training works. You spend a good portion of your life trying to make sure that you are up to the level of somebody else who's being your grader, your examiner, or whatever. Sort of the first time you're on your own, sometimes it could just be scary. It's probably of course imposter syndrome that's trying to kick in and you can't let it kick in. But for me, when I first became an attending, I was like, oh my gosh, like, do I know enough? Oh my gosh, I only published one paper. Oh my gosh, I didn't do any research. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my. You know, I was just freaking out about how am I gonna be this stellar attending if I haven't done X, Y, and Z. So funny, one of my mentors from residency expressed this concern to her. Even before I became an attending, I expressed the concern to her when I was looking for jobs. I don't know if I wanted to take on a role where I would have like a professorship. I would work with trainees, because I'm like, how if I don't know enough, you know, to teach them? And I remember she told me, like, you know enough. Just by going through training, you already know enough. They're not necessarily looking for you to know the exact atom and the exact neuron that does that for, you know, no, they're not looking at that. They're wanting you to be able to teach them how to be a good doctor, how to be compassionate, how to be empathetic with patients, and then also how to do good assessments, how to elicit information. They sound like basic things. It's true. Now, and then me thinking about it as a trainee, I'm like, that's what I wanted to know too. Like, how did you come to this diagnosis? How did you come to this clinical formulation? What was going through your mind when you decided to do this treatment versus that treatment? And when I became an attending and I was actually doing that, I was like, oh, this is what she was talking about. Oh, this is what she meant. Like, I know this. I know how to do this. I know how to diagnose. I know how to treat. I know this stuff and I can teach it. So you know way more than you think you know. You may trick yourself at the beginning, kind of trick your mind into thinking you don't know enough, but you definitely know enough. Other lesson I've learned since being an attending is that residency definitely prepares you. Residency fellowship for sure prepares you. You are not going to see everything that you could potentially see as an attending in residency. Does that make sense? I felt really good coming out of fellowship. I felt ready. I was like, okay, I'm well trained. And if I tell you the stuff that I've seen so far as an attending, just, you know, the most complicated cases, psychiatrically, psychosocially, medically, you know what? Yeah. Look at me, I'm stuttering because I'm just like, whoa, I actually didn't see this in fellowship, okay? Or I didn't see this in residency. I think that's the beauty of having such a really strong foundation. Like, make sure when you are in residency and fellowship or training that you're really soaking everything in, because it's true. There are things that I have not seen in residency that I've now seen as an attending. But I feel like if I didn't have that solid foundation that I got from residency and fellowship, it would have been a million times harder to try to approach those patient cases than it was for me. You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, whoo, okay. But the foundational skills and knowledge that I gained from training helped me to at least be able to decipher up with a good treatment plan, treatment goal, because I had a good foundation. Regardless of all the other factors that are playing a role in those more complex cases, my foundation was solid. And so just knowing that it's like you're not going to see every single thing you could possibly see in training, and that is okay. Next lesson, mentorship continues to be vital. That is just point blank period. That's all. I feel like it's not really much to say. That's almost like a drop, like a mic drop. One of the best things I love about working in an academic institution is your easily afforded mentorship. Or personally, for me in my current role where I'm an attending, I'm working with seasoned psychiatrists, child psychiatrists who are brilliant and who have helped me so much as I've been growing as an attending. There's something to be said about a mentor who believes in you and pushes you and feels like you're doing a good job, and is also very welcoming when you are in need of some guidance or when you are in need of some help. And I feel like I've got that. The wonderful women that I work with at my job now, there will be cases and I'll be like, can I talk to you about this case? I've done that on more than one occasion, and it's always they want me to do it. They want me to come and talk to them about these cases, and it's like that's what they're there for. And honestly, it's helped me to become such a much stronger clinician, getting to work with other clinicians who are further along in their experience than me and are like patient and willing to help. It's just so important. So please do not think like, oh, I'm an attending, I got it, I don't need, the mentorship thing, because mentorship is really pushed a lot when you are in medical school and when you are in residency and fellowship. You feel like even as an attending now, I don't hear it as much, and I'm thankful that I have mentorship through my job, but I just want other newly minted attendings to make sure that you don't be afraid to seek out mentorship. It just helps so much. It really does. Another lesson that I've learned is that you cannot underestimate how important it is to work in a pleasant, kind environment. I remember hearing a lot that people don't stay at their first attending job. Comfort people, because it's scary, y'all. Like, imagine, it's very scary to be like finishing training where your whole life you kind of had a choice in where you go, but it's like very much so a match to med school, you match to residency, you match to fellowship. For the first time ever, when you're applying for jobs, it's sort of on you. You're applying and then you're trying to decipher if it's going to be a good fit for you. And we're just not used to that. Probably people who are in business or tech or engineering are probably like, what? I don't understand the issue here. But for us, it's just that's not how our process has ever been set up. So it's different now to be on the end of applying for a job and interviewing and like getting to kind of essentially pick where you go. That's a long-winded way of saying, in order to kind of comfort people, because that can be so scary and there's so much fear of picking the wrong job. I heard a lot about, a lot of people don't stay at their first job. A lot of people change jobs frequently. You have to feel stuck in that job. Clinical work in any field of medicine, I'm obviously in psychiatry, but it's essentially the same. Eliciting information, you're trying to put together pieces of a story, you're realizing things that you can to kind of create a full picture of what's going on, and then you are making an assessment, and then you're coming up with a treatment plan, and then you're implementing the treatment plan. Essence of clinical work. And you can do that anywhere that allows you to be a physician and work, you can do that. What sets certain jobs apart, other than the obvious, like, do you want to work in a hospital? Do you want to, that, we know that. But I have come to realize that the people make such a difference. Even when the system, and a lot of healthcare systems are pretty subpar, which is, another conversation for another day. But regardless, that's like a universal issue. That's everywhere. Here, systems can be problematic, but the people you work with really can make your experience amazing or not so much. I'm so thankful that my experience has been nothing but amazing. Like, I love the people that I work with. I love my job. I enjoy coming to work and talking to the people who I work with. I feel like we look out for each other. I feel like we're very collaborative. That environment just breeds for a kind, wonderful wonderful experience. I would have thought it was more about what I'm doing. And yes, that's also very important, but just don't underestimate how important the environment and the people you work with are also important. Next lesson I've learned is showing kindness and being empathetic and just a pleasant person to be around. It goes such a long way. It goes for, you know, doing this with your patients, obviously, but also your coworkers, your supervisors. It truly does go a long way. People will respond so well to you if you're just kind, if you're just nice. You know, and I think it's a lesson that I learned because an attending role, you know, I am thinking that I need to be the smartest person, I need, you know, like I need to be on my stuff. Yeah, those things are cool, but are you nice? Are you personable? Can you talk to people? Those things I have seen firsthand go such a long way, and people will be thrilled to work with you if they can pick up that you are genuinely a kind person. And my last lesson, see, I know I've been rambling. How long are we? 25 minutes. Okay, this won't be too bad. So my last lesson is that it is important to set goals for yourself when you become an attending. Imagine having such a lofty goal, because I'm not gonna lie, becoming a physician is a lofty goal. It is the utmost delayed gratification that you can think of. When I think of the idea that I have been on this goal intentionally of becoming a doctor since I would say like junior, senior year of high school. That's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a doctor for sure. So imagine deciding that you have this goal and you decide this when you're 15, 16, or okay, I'm using myself as an example. I have this goal at age 15, 16. I go to college, I'm all about the goal. I get into medical school, I'm still after the goal. You get into residency, you're still trying to reach that goal. You get to fellowship, still trying to reach the goal, and then you finally graduate and you become an attending. And the goal that you have just spent, how many years is that? 4, so 4, 8, 12, 14, 16. So counting the 2 years in high school. The goal that you have spent the last 16 years trying to reach has now been achieved. And then I'm like, oh, well, now what? Medicine just makes you so goal oriented. Like everything I was doing was to meet a goal. Everything I was even doing outside of my regular academic stuff typically was because I was trying to get to a goal. You know, the goal is to graduate, to become an attending, to become board certified. You pass your boards. Felt like I was like, okay, now what? Or like, is this it? Like, is this it? It was a very weird position to be in, I would say. What else is there? And so what I would say is be prepared to create some new goals for yourself, or even, it doesn't even have to necessarily be a goal, but I say that because I feel like physicians, it's hard to escape the allegations of just being creating goals and trying to reach them. I just feel like that's what we've been doing all our life. Goals, we've been passing exams, we've been doing XYZ. Try to make goals for yourself. Try to look for things that fulfill you outside of medicine. I think that's also very important. Rediscover if you haven't. I'm a big advocate for trying to keep your hobbies in training, and I also can understand how that can be difficult. But find some hobbies, travel, you know, just make sure that you are fulfilling yourself outside of medicine, because when you've worked so hard to reach a goal and you've reached that goal and there's nothing else there, you may feel the need to want to like really dive into just work. And I just think that there's other ways that you can fill the void of working towards a goal. So that's my thing. And so for me, it is content creation. Like, this is a new thing for me. I also like getting into makeup. That's kind of new too. I was already sort of into it and have gotten really into it now that I've become an attending. It's just finding other things that make me happy and fulfill me. Traveling is another big one for me. I love to travel. So yeah, the huge lesson is just make sure that you're finding things outside of medicine that are also going to fulfill you. Well, that is it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video about my lessons I've learned since becoming an attending, or a year into being an attending. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, please make sure that you comment and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video to be one that you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.